I hadn't answered that radio call that morning, maybe the forest would have kept its secrets, and maybe I would have stayed alive.
The sun hadn't even broken through the fog when Ranger Daniel Cole got the transmission. One missing hiker. Last seen heading east of Section 12 near an abandoned fire tower. It was supposed to be routine, a quick check, maybe a stray camper who'd lost cell signal. He clicked his radio.
Cole here. Starting East Trail, Section 12. Weather's clear. Visibility good.
His voice was calm, practiced. Years of patrolling these ridges had made him steady. The forest, though, felt wrong. The wind carried no birdsong. Even the usual drone of insects was gone. Only the faint creak of trees shifting in the cold. He stopped by the 3rd-mile marker and frowned. On a nearby oak, 5 long gashes, each deeper than a knife could go, carved vertically into the bark. He leaned closer. The wood around the cuts was still wet, as if something had clawed it minutes ago. He keyed the mic again.
Possible animal activity. Deep claw marks on trees, roughly 8 feet high. Not bear patterns.
A brief crackle, then dispatch replied.
Copy that, Cole. Probably a black bear. Keep moving.
He stared at the marks another few seconds. No bear stood that tall. By noon, the trail narrowed. The ground sloped into soft mud and something glinted under the roots. A torn piece of fabric, faded blue, spattered with dried blood. Next to it, a human footprint. Bare, wide, pressed deep. Daniel crouched, lifted the cloth with a stick, and spoke into his mic.
Found signs of struggle. Blood on site. No body. Possible direction of drag marks heading east. Requesting coordinates relay and search support.
Static answered him. Then nothing. He tried again. The same hiss. After a minute, he switched to his field recorder. An old handheld device clipped to his vest.
Signal's gone. Continuing east toward ridge. Will log by recorder until comms return.
The deeper he went, the thicker the trees became. Twisted roots broke through the soil like knuckles. The air turned heavy and damp. Every few steps he'd catch a smell, iron, rot, wet fur, and it would vanish. Hours later, he stumbled upon an old wooden structure half hidden by moss and ivy. A ranger cabin, long abandoned, but still standing. Inside, a bunk, a cracked lantern, a rusted generator in the corner. He exhaled in relief. It wasn't safe, but it was shelter. By nightfall, the forest was pitch black. The rain had stopped, but something else had started. Noise. Not constant, not animal. Footsteps, slow and deliberate, circling. He sat by the bunk, recorder in hand.
Heard movement outside. Could be deer, but steps are heavy. Keep stopping near the door, like it's pacing.
He turned off the lantern. The only light came from the faint red glow of the recorder's LED. Outside, the crunch of leaves. Then scraping. Something dragged across the wood, slow and deliberate, like a claw tracing lines. Daniel froze. He could hear breathing, close, steady, not rushed. It stopped when he did. He whispered into the mic, barely audible.
It's right outside.
A faint click. The door handle moved, creaking under weight. Then stillness.
Something's pressing against the door. Heavy, like it's testing the wood.
And the recording ended. Morning came gray and heavy. The forest was soaked and silent, the air still carrying the chill of the night. Mist hung low, curling between the trunks like smoke from a dying fire. Ranger Daniel Cole stepped out of the cabin, boots sinking into the mud, his breath visible in the cold air. Something was wrong. Around the cabin, the ground was covered in prints, dozens of them. At first glance, human, barefoot, but too long, too wide. Each print ended with a sharp indentation, like a claw, not a toe. And there were many, circling the cabin, stopping by the door, as if they'd been standing there, listening. He crouched, pressed his gloved hand into one of the prints. It was deep. Whatever made it had weight. He lifted the recorder to his mouth.
Tracks everywhere. Humanoid, bipedal, but elongated. Bare feet, but claws visible. At least 5 or 6 individuals. Stayed close last night. No drag marks. They didn't attack. Just watched.
He straightened, scanning the trees. The woods were still again, but not empty. He could feel eyes on him. By noon, he'd reached a ridge overlooking a ravine. The radio crackled back to life for the first time since yesterday. He snatched it from his vest.
Cole to HQ. Reading me? Found multiple unidentified tracks. Human-like. Any search teams in Section 12 today?
A burst of static, then a strained voice through the noise.
Negative, Cole. You're the only unit deployed in that sector. Return west if signal allows.
He exhaled slowly. Return west. He looked behind him. The forest stretched for miles, endless and gray. Going back meant walking into whatever had been stalking him all night. He pressed the transmit button again.
Copy that. I'll push another hour east. If no contact, turning back.
The radio hissed, then went dead again. He switched to his audio recorder.
Still heading east. Noticed something. Smell of decay. Iron. Following faint trail down toward the hollow.
The ground dipped into a valley, damp and cold. He started seeing bones. At first, animal, deer, raccoon, a fox. Then larger ones, elk, wolf. Some cracked open lengthwise, the marrow scraped clean. The deeper he went, the thicker they became, littering the soil like pale stones. He knelt beside one, the edges smooth and polished.
Not predators. Too precise. They know how to break bones clean. Like they've done it before.
The air thickened with the smell of blood and rain. Every step echoed, too loud, too sharp. And then he saw it. Among the scatter of animal remains, a human skull. He froze. Mud dripped from the hollow of its eyes. The lower jaw was gone. Around it, smaller bones, ribs, fingers, a boot half buried in silt. He took a shaky breath.
Jesus Christ.
He switched the recorder back on, whispering.
Found human remains. Multiple. Not recent, but not old either. No animal marks, no teeth scoring. Clean separation. Need to.
The ground shifted under his feet. A dull crack. The soil gave way. He barely had time to shout before the earth collapsed beneath him. He fell, rolling through wet clay and stone, crashing into darkness. Pain shot up his leg. Something cracked. Maybe his radio, maybe a rib. The world went still. He groaned, reached for the flashlight. It flickered but held. The beam cut through dust, revealing the floor beneath him. Bones, hundreds of them. He swallowed hard and reached for the recorder again, voice trembling.
Fell through ground. Possible sinkhole. Radio's broken. Flashlight's weak. Bones everywhere. Human. Dozens. If anyone hears this, I think I've found where they've been bringing them.
Then, from above, a sound. Soft, wet. Something moved at the edge of the hole. He lifted the light, but the beam only caught mist and dripping mud. He listened. Nothing. He shut off the recorder, breathing shallowly, every nerve screaming for silence. But as the light flickered again, he realized something terrifying. The walls weren't just dirt. They were scratched. Dozens of marks. Same as on the trees, only deeper, from inside. He kept the beam on the scratched wall and didn't breathe. Above, the rims shed a veil of dirt, a soft patter over his shoulders, then stillness so complete he could hear the recorder hum in his vest. He clicked it on again, whisper close to the mic.
disturbed. Holding position. No wind down here.
A pause. His own breath sounded like a trespass. The soil trembled once more. Thud, sift, and something leaned into the light for a fraction of a second. Pale, wrong, gone. Every muscle in him wanted to run, though there was nowhere to go. He forced his voice flat like range training.
Visual contact. Humanoid. Brief.
He killed the light, counted to 20, brought it back. The rim was empty. The scratches on the wall seemed to crawl in the cone of light, decades of layered clawwork. He backed away until bone shifted under his boot. Another thud. Then a second, farther along the rim. More than one.
Multiple. Spaced apart. Coordinated.
He pressed himself to the wall, fingers digging into damp clay. The earth felt slick, handled. Someone, something, had come up and down this way so often it had turned stone to velvet. The next sound wasn't a thud. It was a breath, drawn through a broken mouth, wet and careful, as if learning how. His training cracked. Thoughts flashed fast and stupid. Unname it and it's smaller. Don't name it. He pinched the recorder against his sternum to steady his hand.
Vocalization present. Not language.
He grabbed a fist-sized stone and hurled it at the rim. Clay burst. The answer came at once. 3 answering breaths. Staggered, triangulating his position like wolves that had forgotten how to howl. He aimed the flashlight straight up. 3 faces materialized along the lip of the pit as if cut from the dark. Not quite faces. Lengthened, too much bone under too little skin, eyes holding the light like wet glass. They didn't blink. They tilted their heads in the same angle, the same slow timing, as if sharing a single thought.
3 at rim. Eyes reflective. Synchronous movement.
He whispered, not sure for whom.
Don't.
The one in the center opened its hands. Fingers splayed wider than human. Claws slid into clay with a sound like paper tearing, and it began to come down, not scrambling, not slipping, but placing itself on the wall in perfect, measured increments. The others adjusted, keeping equal distance, watching. Cole edged sideways, bones clicking under his boots like beads. He raised the light to full, filament screaming. The descending thing flinched, then resumed, unblinking.
1 descending. Light deterrent, minimal.
He snatched up a femur and gripped it like a baton. His mouth tasted like metal. His tongue felt too big for it. Somewhere in the dark, a small stone skittered behind him. He spun the light and found only the scratches and the idea of space beyond them. There are tunnels. A part of him said that sounded exactly like him and not at all like him.
Possible lateral egress. Side passages not visible from base.
The creature halted halfway, pressed flat against the wall, listening. Up on the rim, the other 2 leaned. The same tiny tilt. He knew then that the hush of the forest outside wasn't emptiness. It was attention. He tried a human trick. "Back!" he shouted, voice ripping in the small space. The echo crashed over him. The descending thing stuttered and then continued, as if the word meant nothing except sound.
Verbal challenge ineffective.
He felt heat creep up his neck. The recorder made him honest.
I am afraid.
He said to it, and his voice sounded like someone else's. He moved again, toes searching for purchase. Bones shifted, rolled, his foot slid. He caught himself on the wall. Clay smeared his palm. The creature changed speed, a quick increment, clocking his stumble like a teacher marking a mistake.
They adjust to movement.
It was close enough now for details. Scars across the chest like dried riverbeds, a torn ear, teeth that were not canine so much as tools. The smell reached him last, iron, damp soil, and a note of something he refused to name.
Don't.
He tried again, smaller. The one above and left answered, a low, shared exhale. The third on the right shifted to keep the triangle. The geometry felt practiced, ritual or just efficient hunting. He lifted the femur. The descending thing paused, tracking the bone, not the arm. Then, With a twist that made his stomach drop, it let go and dropped the last few feet. It landed among the skulls with a softness that should have been impossible. No grunt, no human noise.
Ground contact. Silent.
The world narrowed to hands. Its fingers opened for him, not to grab, to measure. He swung. The bone struck the forearm. The sound was like hitting wet wood. The creature recoiled, not from pain, but to recalculate. Its head tilted again. It stepped closer. He stumbled back. His heel struck something that gave a hole where there shouldn't be one, a seam in the wall. Cold air moved across his ankles.
Confirmed lateral passage. Unknown depth.
He threw the femur into the descending thing's face. It did not blink. It caught the bone, turned it in its hands with a curious, almost gentle check of weight. Behind it, the recorder picked up a second set of steps. Behind him now, the tunnels had given the others a way down without his seeing. He snatched the flashlight, swung it hard into the thing's eyes. Light exploded, the bulb screamed, and then died. Darkness fell like water. For an instant, there was only breath, his fast and breaking. Theirs, shared and deliberate. The mic brushed skin.
If you find this, stay out of Section 12. They hunt in groups. They wait. They...
The impact hit beside him. Cloth tore. Clay went in his mouth. The recorder tumbled, struck bone, landed red light up, and kept listening. What followed was movement more than sound. Drag over stone, a click of teeth on plastic, a human breath turning into a choke and cutting off mid-inhale. The recorder ran. 7 long minutes of aftermath. Water ticking in a patient rhythm. Something being pulled across bone. Footsteps that moved not up the wall, but sideways, into the seam of cold air, then fading. Silence held. They reached Section 12 a week later. The ground had caved where the coordinates ended. They found bones, too many to identify. No body, no uniform. Only a recorder, wedged in stone, its red light blinking. Most of the last minutes were static, but there was no final voice. Just breathing, slow, uneven. Then, nothing. If this story unsettled you, leave a like and let the shadows know. Subscribe for more tales you shouldn't hear after dark. And if you've seen something you can't explain, tell us in the comments. We're always listening.